CFTO TV Channel 9 in Toronto.
Leaving it to a new leader, the Prime Minister packs it in.
I shall hand over to my successor a government and a party in very good shape.
CTV News with Lloyd Robertson.
Good evening. People had been talking about it for weeks. There was intense speculation last night and this morning, and then the man at the center dropped the word. Prime Minister Mulroney said he was stepping down and called on Conservatives to choose a new leader. It was the beginning of the end of a remarkable career, one filled with dizzying highs and desperate lows. And today, Brian Mulroney, fully in control, and as always, the master of political timing, chose this February 24th as his day of departure. Leslie Jones reports.
The Prime Minister's resignation was an open secret by the time his motorcade arrived on Parliament Hill. The months of frenzied speculation could no longer be contained.
The Prime Minister is today's day.
After weeks of denials, it was clear Brian Mulroney had finally made his decision.
How do you feel, sir?
I feel fine.
A decision he wanted to share with his caucus first.
Are you resigning?
But with no official word, reporters were swarming everyone looking for confirmation.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
You know that I won't answer that question.
Well, the release is...
The answer finally came in the form of a two-page press release. And then from Mulroney himself.
The time has come for me to step aside.
Although the Prime Minister and his wife settled the decision over the weekend, the announcement was still tough. Why now? The Prime Minister was determined to be the first Tory leader in history to hand his successor the mantle of government, not the burden of opposition.
I shall hand over to my successor a government and a party in very good shape, ready to fight and to win the next election campaign.
And Mulroney, forever the political strategist, thinks his timing is perfect. He says it gives the new leader enough time to establish his or her credentials, and the Liberals no time to readjust their strategies to fight someone new.
It leaves lots of time for preparations for a campaign, and it leaves lots of time for a campaign. It does not, however, leave a great deal of time for other parties that might want to consider something a little later on.
Brian Mulroney made no apologies for the policies that have made him the most unpopular Prime Minister in history.
I always tried to do what I thought would be right for Canada in the long term, not what could be politically popular in the short term.
His biggest regret was the failure of the Meech Lake Accord. Still bitter 3 years later, he blames Newfoundland's Premier, accusing Clyde Wells of reneging on a promise to put the constitutional deal to a vote.
What I found very, very hard to take was the fact that the vote was scheduled and it was canceled peremptorily without the elected members having an opportunity to vote on it. Had they voted it down, I wouldn't raise it today.
For Mulroney's supporters, his resignation was a huge disappointment.
I'm very sorry to see him go. I mean, there's a lot of tears today, and we're very sad. It's a very emotional day because history will judge him so much better than the present has.
And in the House of Commons, partisanship gave way to praise.
Of course, he's done great things for his party. The fact that he had won 2 majorities in a row deserve a lot of credit because it's extremely difficult to achieve.
There is no one in this House who would not say to the Prime Minister that even when we did not agree, that he did in fact work from his political perspective in the interests of his country.
In a genuine show of support, both opposition leaders crossed the floor to wish the Prime Minister well. But these warm feelings won't last. The opposition promises to renew its attack on Mulroney's unpopular policies, policies the new leader will have to defend successfully if he or she hopes to be Prime Minister for more than a few months. Leslie Jones, CTV News, Ottawa.
And as Leslie mentioned there in her report, the Prime Minister was unable to conceal his disappointment with the role he believes Clyde Wells played in the death of the Meech Lake Accord. And the Newfoundland Premier quickly responded to Mulroney's comments. Wells rejects the charge that he torpedoed the agreement by failing to hold a vote in the provincial legislature.
I find it rather sad that the Prime Minister sort of has to rewrite history in this way on this kind of a day when he's going out of office. It's even more sad, perhaps, if he honestly believes it.
In spite of their disagreement, Wells called the Prime Minister a courteous and charming man with a strong commitment to Newfoundland. Pierre Trudeau quit as a Prime Minister after a solitary walk in the snow. But Brian Mulroney is a different kind of person. He spent the weekend talking with his family and friends, and last night he hosted a dinner for some close political confidants. And after announcing his decision today, a subdued Prime Minister spoke to one of the key people who broke the story about him last night, CTV's Ottawa Bureau Chief, Craig Oliver.
Not too late to change your mind.
I know.
Thank you for doing this.
The Prime Minister was in a reflective mood, sitting down for a post-resignation interview, perhaps slightly deflated even by the realization that for him, the political wars are over.
They wanted Brian Mulroney to kick around anymore.
Mulroney says the decision to leave politics was no last-minute impulse.
It's a decision, Craig, that Emile and I made about 2 years ago, that we're just in the process of executing now. I used to be very interested and entertained by some of the so-called Mulroney experts who deliver themselves of these kinds of opinions. We used to find it pretty entertaining.
Mulroney is sensitive about any suggestion that he's dodging a potentially losing election fight with Liberal leader Jean Chrétien.
But I have no doubt at all about my capacity to win a government campaign against Jean Chrétien. I mean, I don't want to be dismissive and I don't want to be presumptuous, but believe me, if you've been through what I've been through in the last 10 years, this is not the greatest challenge.
Not surprisingly, the retiring Prime Minister says he is proud of his record, which he thinks will stand the test of time.
Was free trade good? Was the GST the right thing to do? Was his position on the Gulf War right? Was Meech Lake right? And so on. And I'm ready to accept the verdict of history very, very readily.
Reminded that he leaves office perhaps the most unpopular leader in Canadian history, Mulroney says it comes with the territory, and he offers this advice to his successor.
You want to be Prime Minister of Canada? Make up your mind. Our problems are so intractable that you can be effective or you can be popular, but you can't be both.
Mulroney may have been the first Prime Minister to tell Canadians repeatedly they couldn't have it all. And Canadians did not like hearing that, especially when Mulroney told them they'd have to pay more and more for what they did have. In a sense, he shifted the debate from the 70s when we asked what new government initiatives can we expect to the 90s when we're asking how are we going to pay for them. Lloyd?
Craig, it's been 9 years now since we've seen a Prime Minister step aside, the last one being Pierre Trudeau in February of 1984. How do we compare the legacies of Pierre Trudeau and Brian Mulroney?
Not easily. Both Prime Ministers put their own stamp on the country. I think that many would argue that Mulroney's stamp, however, may have been more permanent, more fundamental in terms of the changes he brought in the country. Some would tell you that we are a tougher country, maybe even a meaner country than we were at the beginning of the Mulroney years, but many economists argue that that's put us in a better position for the cutthroat competition in world trade that's coming fast.
And in what sort of shape has he left the Conservative Party?
He's left the party in good shape in the sense that it is well organized, it is rich, and morale is good. The problem with the Conservative Party, however, is that its policies are unpopular. So the challenge for the new leader will be somehow to persuade Canadians that it is a new era in the Conservative Party without having to dump all of the Mulroney policies. That will not be easy.
Mulroney brought a whole new batch of Tories into the party from the province of Quebec. Now, with Mulroney leaving and possibly an English-Canadian leader taking over the party again, will the ground shift in Quebec, do you think? Will they go for one of their own in the person of Jean Chrétien?
Well, that is a truism in Canadian politics if you look back in the history of it, Lloyd, and that is that never have French Canadians rejected one of their own when given a choice in a national election. And that means if the Conservative Party picks an English Canadian, particularly from outside Quebec, and Quebecers are deciding not to go for the separatist Bloc Québécois, that Jean Chrétien could easily pick up strongly in that province.
Going to be an interesting few months.
Fascinating, Lloyd. Always is in Canadian politics.
Thank you very much, Craig.
Good night, Lloyd.
And still to come in tonight's news, sorting out the pretenders and the contenders for Canada's top job. But first, the people in the street pass judgment on the outgoing Prime Minister.
Well, I happen to be one of the few Canadians that think he's done an outstanding job. Never liked the guy. Never will. You guys have a good day.
You should have done this a long, long time ago.
Why so?
Because he's not the right prime minister.
My goodness, so who's going to take his place?
Well, there's going to...
One of these men had gray hair just 5 minutes ago. Can you guess which one got rid of his gray? With a revolutionary discovery called Just for Men, from the leader in men's hair coloring. Simply apply, and in 5 minutes rinse for a truly natural look. And it won't fade or wash out. But who used Just for Men?
I did. And what a difference in just 5 minutes.
Bring back the look of your own natural color in just 5 minutes with Just for Men.
Keep the cottage. Go back to school. Play golf every day. You can retire with all you have now if you take matters into your own hands today. At CIBC, we urge you to try to maximize your RRSP contribution this year. Talk to one of CIBC's experts about RRSPs and ask about our preferred client rates. Let us help you secure your future. We're CIBC. Get us working for you.
The Prime Minister's decision to step down has provoked a mixed bag of reaction. Some recession-weary Canadians wished him good riddance. An angry caller to a radio phone show in Atlantic Canada called Mulroney a carbuncle on the nose of Canadian politics. But there was also praise and genuine sadness at his departure. Quebec Premier Robert Bourassa saluted Mulroney's leadership and unfailing feeling toward Quebec. British Columbia's Mike Harcourt said despite disagreements, it's time to praise the Prime Minister, not slam him. And Canadian Labour Congress President Bob White said the Prime Minister may be going, but the pain of the Tory agenda will linger on. In Washington, President Clinton said he had spoken to Mulroney and wished him well. British Prime Minister John Major said he was sad to see his friend retire. And one of Mulroney's former friends, Lucien Bouchard, leader of the Bloc Québécois, said he felt sorry for the Prime Minister. With Brian Mulroney's decision now made, the country's political focus will now be shifting to the contenders, the men and women who covet his mantle of leadership. Today, the potential candidates remained guarded and very cautious. But in the corridors of the Parliament building, journalists reacted as though the race was already underway. Ken Ernhofer reports.
No sooner had the Prime Minister made his announcement than a media frenzy was underway. Running, pushing, prying, all of us, targeting anyone who could soon become the Tories' new leader and Canada's new Prime Minister.
A lot of people say you're the next leader of the party.
Well, a lot of people say a lot of things.
Mr. Valcourt, would you like to be Prime Minister of Canada?
Good luck getting answers. 5 are considered potential serious candidates. Michael Wilson, architect of free trade and the GST. Kim Campbell, the tough, brainy defense minister. Employment Minister Bernard Valcourt, who's taken heat proposing cuts to unemployment insurance. Youthful, long-serving Perrin Beatty in his 6th ministry. And Environment Minister Jean Charest, another baby boomer.
Is there any possibility you will be a candidate for the leadership yourself?
This is Mr. Mulroney's day.
So you're not ruling it out?
Don Mazinkowski, Barbara McDougall, even Benoit Bouchard are outside possibilities.
Everybody looks at what is the possibility or the options.
Without exception, they carefully steered clear of any speculation, wary of committing the cardinal sin of appearing over-anxious, and they paid Mulroney the requisite praise.
Brian has been a friend to me in good times and in bad times.
Still, many are thought to have already started informally canvassing and organizing.
Today, I think is his day, and tomorrow I'll look at the lay of the land.
Prospects of a new Tory leadership are a problem for the opposition, who had counted on Mulroney's unpopularity to help them win. Their new strategy, tar any replacements with the same brush.
Whether it's Kim Campbell, Michael Wilson, Perrin Beatty, or Jean Charest, they were all there and they were all architects of a 9-year Tory disaster.
But hold on, says pollster Michael Adams.
I think half the electorate is up for grabs.
He says no opposition leader has widespread support, and a youthful Bill Clinton type or a woman could double Tory support quickly.
Basically, the best thing that the other parties had going for them was Brian Mulroney. That now being taken away, it seems to me that the Conservatives are on a relatively level playing field.
It's
Hard-pressed to know who I support myself.
So, prospective Tory leaders seem almost itching to take on the New Democrats, and especially, they say, the Liberals.
They are congenitally not able to take positions.
You sound like you're running already.
You're enticing me.
Stay tuned. Ken Ernhofer, CTV News, Ottawa.
Coming up, new developments in the case of accused serial rapist Paul Bernardo. And before we take a break, members of the business community put in their 2 cents worth on Prime Minister Mulroney's resignation.
But I don't believe that this particular event will have a sustained negative impact on our marketplace.
That he will go down as a giant for having had the vision and the courage to address a whole series of tough issues.
He leaves a very unsettled and perhaps even divided country.
How do you handle it all? I mean, your business, this place, we watch what we spend.
This is my baby, over a century old. But Joe, who buys these things? We fax to our customer list, here, overseas, all the time.
That must cost a pretty penny. Not really.
And now we can input faxes before we leave the shop, and they go out at night, like magic.
When the rates are low.
As a matter of fact, there goes one now.
Long-distance business sense from Bell. Call us.
Not everyone can do 2 things at once. Just ask the folks at Home Hardware, because they do 2 things at once. You get friendly advice, Phillips, and great price. So just think, friendly advice,
Robertson,
and great price. What more could you ask for? Flathead. Excuse me? Oh. Anyway, with friendly advice and great price, like this Benchmark sturdy toolbox for just $6.77, Home's got everything you need. So come on in and see.
Saw.
Home Hardware, home of the handyman.
Good evening. Another vicious attack tonight on a Scarborough variety store clerk.
Phone sex arrives at the door.
And the Wings try to fly away from the Leafs. The details on 19.
We have to clean up now, Emily. Let's go. Okay.
There are those days when it is especially nice to come home to the goodness of Campbell's.
Hi, Emily.
I'm 18 and Mom.
Thanks, Emily. This is great.
Take a moment to compare the 93 Ford Taurus GL sedan and wagon to the imports. The Taurus comes well equipped with over 24 standard features including air, power windows, and available anti-lock brakes. You'll also discover not just 1, but 2 airbags. The price? Thousands less than the imports. Wagon or sedan, just $19,995. No wonder Taurus is the best-selling car in North America.
Quality is job one. It's working.
There was another twist today in the sexual assault case against Paul Bernardo. He has changed lawyers. No reason was given for the move. Bernardo is being held on 43 rape-related charges for a series of attacks in a Toronto suburb. He's also a suspect in the savage slayings of 2 Ontario schoolgirls. Bernardo met with his new lawyer for 90 minutes today. Joy Melvin has more.
Ken Murray is one of the few people to see Paul Bernardo since his arrest last week.
Oh, he's feeling distance from his family. He's in segregation. He's, like anybody else, confused, upset. Because of the nature of the charges and because of the security system, he's deprived of television, although I understand he's getting papers shortly. So he's in a vacuum.
Murray won't say how his client will plead, but he's taking on the most sensational criminal case in Ontario in recent years. 28-year-old Bernardo, seen here in this home video, is accused of a string of brutal sex assaults, and he was supposed to be charged with murder. Several public police announcements linked him to the grisly sex slayings of 15-year-old Kristen French and 14-year-old Leslie Mahaffey. But in a startling move, police have put those murder charges on hold.
That's not an unusual thing, and it's not something for people to get all wound up about.
Police have been criticized for the on-again, off-again murder charges against Bernardo and the way they've handled this investigation.
Everyone's speculating. Nobody knows. The confusion comes in there, and that has to carry over into the courtroom. I'm hoping that we can end this by starting the preliminary hearings.
It's not known when or if Paul Bernardo will be charged with murder. Next week he appears in court on rape charges. Joy Malbin, CTV News, Toronto.
Calm has been restored in Somalia's capital tonight after a second day of rioting. It was the worst unrest since a multinational force arrived in the East African country 2 months ago. Nathan Thomas of ABC has more.
For more than 6 hours, coalition soldiers fired into the air, trying to disperse the crowds that kept coming back. They were the most violent anti-American demonstrations so far and show just how fragile the peace here really is. Followers of General Adid, one of Mogadishu's major warlords, set fires in the streets and threw rocks at U.S. troops and other coalition forces. But they kept any weapons out of sight, perhaps knowing coalition troops are authorized to shoot to kill if they're threatened. Demonstrators also stormed the Egyptian embassy, tearing down the flag, looting the buildings of everything they could carry out, then tossing grenades into the compound. 2 American Marines were wounded, apparently while defending the Egyptian embassy. One was hit by shrapnel from a grenade. The other was injured by small arms fire. General Adid says 5 Somalis were killed and 15 injured. General Adid's followers took to the streets because they blamed the Americans for showing favoritism to a rival warlord who invaded the southern city of Kismayu earlier this week. Nathan Thomas, ABC News, Mogadishu.
Serb forces in Bosnia have captured a strategic suburb of Sarajevo, tightening their stranglehold on the besieged capital. And an advance group of 200 Canadian peacekeepers arrived at their base near Sarajevo today. They'll be escorting UN relief convoys to eastern Bosnia. In the music world tonight at the Grammys, a veteran of rock and roll was one of the big winners at the American recording industry's annual awards ceremony. Guitarist and singer Eric Clapton won 6 Grammys, including the prized Record of the Year. And Canadians didn't fare so badly either. Alberta's Katie Lang won the Grammy for Best Female Pop Vocal for her hit song Constant Craving. And Quebecer Celine Dion won a Grammy with Pio Bryson for Best Performance by a Duo. It was for their song from the movie Beauty and the Beast. Grammys. The movie won 4 other Grammys. The star of the night, though, was Eric Clapton and the tribute he sang to his 4-year-old son, who died accidentally. Tears in Heaven was named Song of the Year, Best Male Pop Vocal, and Record of the Year. Clapton also won 2 Grammys for his album Unplugged, and another for a soft rock version of Layla, a song he first recorded 20 years ago. When we return, looking back at the Mulroney years, but first, some thoughts on the same subject from fellow politicians.
Disagreed with him. At a personal level, he's shown great character and great qualities of personal decency.
I really hope that Canadians will appreciate how much he's accomplished. I think history is going to be very positive about it.
I see in the Prime Minister's resignation really a major changing of the political guard in Canada. Resignation.
When you've been burning the candle at both ends and can't get to sleep, turn occasional sleeplessness into sleep with Nitol's single trusted ingredient. And wake up feeling well-rested and alert. Nitol.
Good news when I can find it. Can you believe this? Chance to make a decent return on a buck. 10%. What if rates go even higher? Good news from a bank. Imagine that.
Fun with food? Take a lesson from Bette Midler and John Goodman. In Stella, Sunday on the CTV Movie. Even the commercials will be fun. Watch for new and tasty recipe ideas from the Craft Kitchens. Find out what's hot, what's fresh, and what's fun. Craft Kitchens, good food and good food ideas. And Bette Midler in Stella, Sunday on CTV.
Introducing the all-new Chrysler Concorde, a quiet retreat from outside intrusions.
With its revolutionary cab-forward styling, standard dual airbags, and the luxury of its wider, roomier interior, it offers the ultimate escape. You can put it all behind you. The new Chrysler Concorde. All you have to do is drive one.
When you've been burning the candle at both ends and can't get to sleep, turn occasional sleeplessness into sleep with Nitol's single trusted ingredient. And wake up feeling well-rested and alert. Nitol.
In closing tonight, a look back at the dominant story of the day and what will certainly be one of the main events of the year. The very name, Brian Mulroney, could send some Canadians into a passionate rage. But those who knew him well say he was a man of compassion and goodwill who was a true friend and a decent human being. Many would say he became a lightning rod of discontent because he was a strong leader with a clear vision of the country. A leader who changed the face of Canada, whether Canadians were to like it or not.
Together, we're going to build a brand new party and a brand new country. Thank you all very much.
In 1983, Brian Mulroney was a savior for the Tories, the one who could make them winners. And he did that the next year with a sweeping election victory in English Canada and in Quebec, something never before accomplished by the Conservatives.
We believe in bringing people together, not driving them apart. And that is what this campaign was all about.
But for voters, the new government brought disappointment.
He has done the honorable thing.
Scandals, tainted tuna, conflict of interest, shady real estate deals. Minister after minister resigned. Then in 1985, the government tried to de-index old age pensions, breaking what Mulroney himself called a sacred trust.
I say, Mr. Mulroney,
The Tories eventually backed down,